And we'll do it live. We'll do it live. Time to fix my hair. Oh my God. This is the worst hair problem ever. I mean, my hair gets bad for these, but this is terrible. All right. I need a full-on crew that comes in and does my hair before I do live YouTube videos. So today's topic is hate. And I hope that my thumbnail made it to the front of this video, which is Psalms 139:22. I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. What's the next verse? I'm going to switch it. Here we go. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. And see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way of everlasting. Wow. Or, no, I'm sorry. See if there be any wicked in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Lead me in the way everlasting. Lead me in the way forever. Lead me in the way forever. Wow, that's really good. Let's look at this one again. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. And see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. There should be a comma after way. I'm reading the King James Version, which is good, but there should be a comma after way, I believe there. I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. I count them mine enemies. I hate them with perfect hatred. So now we're of course, everyone's talking about the Olympics this, Olympics that. And, we see what they did to the Olympics. And I thought that the conservative radio, the AM conservative radio, was a big dud, a big weakness, a big giant flop. Imagine a big softy. That's what I would call AM conservative radio. Glenn Beck and Grant Stinchfield and that other gal and all these, they're just very weak. And one of the things they did is they made it about Christianity. And then the Christians who called into the show said, boy, it was kind of like, well, there they go again with their hatred of Christianity. Yes, they hate Christianity, but that was just one facet of it. You have to understand something. This is a hatred for France, right? What they did with that Olympic show, it was a hatred of Christianity, but it was a hatred of France. It was a hatred of Europe. It was a hatred of the European people. That's what I got out of it. I looked at that as a complete insult to France. Now, you'd say, well, why aren't the French people speaking up? Because they're, frankly, under a military occupation since the end of World War II. Everybody is. That's the way I look at it. That's the way I look at it. Yes, it was an insult to Christianity. No, the Pope hasn't opened his Jesuit mouth. But the real insult was to the French. Can you imagine? Here you are, showing the entire world, we are France. Come to France. Look at Paris. This is who we are. And what do they have? They have pedophiles. They have the whole sodomite thing that we're all subjected to constantly, that everybody frankly hates, and we're sick of it. Okay? So they have the sodomy and the pedophilia. They literally had pedophilia. They were literally promoting pedophilia as French culture. See, this is the insult. This is the insult. It's not just an insult to Christianity. It's not just an insult to the Last Supper, which I'm sure it is. It's an insult to the French people, you see. It's an insult to the French people. Why aren't more French people speaking out of it? A couple of reasons. One, they're under the European Union. Two, they're controlled by the Jesuit and ADL mafia. So I guess they just have to keep their mouths shut. It's sad. It's pathetic. But You want to start a war with Russia? You want to start a war with Russia and you're telling me this is your culture? Why wouldn't I want Russia to? Never mind. This is YouTube. If you have anything to comment on, please feel free to comment. I'd like your input. I want to know what you think. I want to know what you think, but you know, you have all these anti-hate groups. Stop hating. Love wins. Love wins. Love wins. Love wins at the abortion center when you're hacking the baby to pieces? That's love winning. Love wins when you're engaged in some kind of sick perversion. You know, you look at what happens with these certain times of the year, like in June, there's a special month for being a total degenerate where you could be a degenerate in public. It's like, you know what? F your fucking society. It's trash. Your society is trash. I want Putin for president of the USA. That's the kind of guy we need. Yes, the kind of person we need would be Putin. Somebody like Putin. In fact, there was a song called Takoga Kak Putin, meaning somebody like Putin in Russian. Great song. I really love it. I'm going to see if I can find it right now while I'm streaming, because I don't have a problem with Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin isn't the one that just defamed France. Vladimir Putin is not the one that defamed France. It wasn't Vladimir Putin didn't do that. So why would I want the French to kill Russians to spread this toilet culture, which is France? Now, it's not France, though. That's the thing. That's not French culture. My last name is NATO. That means I'm part French, and I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I've never been to France, but I'm pissed. Let's see if I can find this song. And you know what? If you're a member of NATO, not NATO, NAFO, fuck you, man. Fuck you and your sorry. Nobody wants to come on here and listen to me use the F words. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for that. I really don't. I'm not going to do that. People will literally just stop listening if I do that. Takoga Kak Putin. That's the name of the song. I'm going to see if I can find the song because I like it. Takoga Kak Putin. See if I can find a good version of it. I really like the song. Very popular song. I don't want it in English, though. Let me see if I can find it in a good version in Russian. I think it's this one. Yeah, this is a good one. Let me turn it up. I don't know if you can hear it very good. Hold on. Let me turn it up. I gotta find my volume. He's climbing into a tank. And then he's driving down through the snow. I love this song. Now he's doing judo. I wish you could see this. He's on a judo group. Now he's playing hockey. It's a different mix. Who's playing hockey? There's in the military. Playing airplane. He's literally flying an airplane. Oh my God, he's arm wrestling. Climbing up a wall. He's hanging out at the soccer kids club. He's like good at piano. Meeting all the kids. Oh, now he's in a race car. He's racing a race car. This is a great song. Takoga Kak Putin. He's on a motorcycle with a Russian flag. He's around a bunch of bikers. Yeah, so that girl's good looking. Man, there's some really good looking Russian women. In fact, that's probably why I became so interested in Russia. It's because they have beautiful women. NATO no bueno. No kidding, dude. No kidding. NATO's lame and NAFO is lame. They're both lame. And what they're doing to France is lame. I'm part French. My family came from France. And then I look at what they're doing to France. This is not French culture. French culture is not trash. Okay? French culture is not trash. That's what the Olympics is showing off. Can you imagine that? This is France. Perverts, pedophiles, degenerates. Oh, this is French culture. No, it's not. Sorry, it's not. I'm not going to use bad language, but it's not. That's not French culture. And whoever these people are, the whole problem with this situation is it's like we're expected, and all these conservatives, all these conservators are like in this alliance. There's like this alliance, but why would any Christian person or somebody who just has like decency, a person who has any decent values or like believes in like any kind of like high level civilization. I mean, this is like the worst type of civilization you can imagine what they're promoting. It's literally something that needs to be flushed down the toilet. That's what they're saying France is. Why would the French government go along with this? How stupid are they? Actually, French are very conservative. I think you're probably right. Now, I recommend that everybody watch a video that's you can find it on the archive website that has all the archives. What's it called? It's like one of those library websites. And the video is called Occult Forces. It's a great video. It was made in 1943, I think. 1943 in France. And it was about how it was about Freemasonry and how there was how the Masons were controlling France before World War II, and how they had this network. And that was really the downfall, I believe, of France. And it's not that like I read a lot of these Freemason books because I had access to one of their encyclopedias one time, and I thought it was all nice. I think the Freemasons themselves are probably the least of the problem, but that organization was just used to bring in the most satanic, filthy, perverted, just trash, just like the ultimate trash culture. And I don't think that I honestly don't believe that's what the Freemasons were like. What they wanted to do. I don't know. But the fact is, anytime you make one of these secret societies, it just attracts perverts. Secret societies attract perverts because it's secret. We're doing things in secret. You see what I mean? So it attracts people that like to do things in secret, and they're freaking weird, man. They are weirdos. They're so weird and they're so sick. And the things that they want to do are so sick. The mafia is a secret society. I've been watching a lot of documentaries lately about the mafia. And they're very interesting. A lot of it revolves around the Gambino crime family in New York. And they're a secret society. And what are they? They're involved in all kinds of weird crimes. And some of them are worse than others. There was one particular mafioso guy named DeMeo. I don't remember his first name, but he was a total psychopath. And he worked for the Gambino crime family. And like if you were in his bar after 4:30 in the morning, like he had this night. He was associated with this nightclub. People would go in there and drink, and then they would go in there and they would start drinking, and then some people would stick around till like the wee hours in the morning, and just for no reason at all, this DeMeo guy if you're like still there that late, he would take you and like shoot you in the head, and then his crew, they had a whole crew, and the bartender would like call him up and be like, yeah, we got one, and they would show up, and it's like 4:30 in the morning, right? You're still at the bar, and they'd shoot you in the head, hang you upside down, and slice you open so you bleed out in the bathtub, and then chop you up into little pieces and then take you to the and throw you in different boxes and bags and throw it in the garbage, and it would end up in and would end up in the city dump. And he literally would do this to people, and he would. And it's like this is the kind of people I believe that are attracted to this weird stuff, the pedophilia stuff, the perversion stuff, the defamation of an entire, uh, you know, nation, France. It's just weird. It's just weird. So secret societies, the mafia, the Freemasons, all these secret societies where they're doing everything in secret. And they what it does is it attracts weirdos, right? A lot of these mafia people were actually just weird people that would like get into this stuff. So I don't know. I just can't believe that I just can't believe that we are subjected to this kind of sickness. And it's really it just saddens the whole thing. I've always liked the Olympics. You've got all these young people, they're going there to participate in the Olympics. They want to go, and normal people cannot comprehend extreme psychopaths. That's true. And that's why most people think that it doesn't exist. They're like, nobody would do that. That's crazy. They do that. Yeah, they do that. They're weird. They're total weird. Like, I don't even want to talk about the stuff that I've heard of or actually seen of, like, sometimes people would post a video on maybe Twitter or somewhere of stuff that happens at these parades in San Francisco. And like, it's so, it's like, oh man, what do you, like, I mean, I'm not going to say the words. I'm not here to gross you out, dude, but there's gross stuff in there. And these are the people, if you look at who runs Sacramento, it's these people. Who runs West Los Angeles? It's these people. And it's their culture that they're promoting to everyone. Now, the reason why it's pissing me off too is because I live in a town that was never like this. Okay. I live in kind of like a town that's pretty wealthy, right? For the most part, it's like one of the wealthier places to live. And I live in I live in like the cheapest part of it because that's kind of how I roll. I like to live in the cheapest part of the wealthiest part of town. So I live in the cheapest part of a very wealthy area. And in my area, I've noticed ever since I think it started happening around the 20 was one of the elections where the Democrats gained a lot of seats and gained a lot of power. And it's not that the Republicans are great, but they are tend to be better because they're not as mentally deranged. Although they are, because you got Peter Thiel and you've got all these other people that are like the Rockefeller family, which sponsors a group called Drag Out the Vote. So I don't want to even make it about that. But I live in a place now where literally the city has some kind of weird arrangement where they get tax money to give to certain people to open businesses to promote this whole agenda that you see happening that's coming down from Washington D.C. and part of this network. See, it's France, it's Washington D.C., it's the European Union, it's Canada. It's like there's this network that all wants to promote this rainbow sewage. It's like a rainbow it's like a rainbow of mental illness and perversion. And so they it's like a rainbow of mental illness and perversion. And there's a whole network, and it's all backed by money and banks and BlackRock and what's that, Larry Fink. It's like Larry Fink and George Soros and the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds and all these people that have like all this financial power, and they're like spreading the rainbow of perversion. And it's sad. It hurts people. There's a lot of people that are actually okay. Let's put it this way. Not only that, there's that angle of it, and then there's the drugs. Okay, here's the other thing you gotta understand. There's fentanyl on the streets where I live. I live in one of the most expensive, richest, wealthiest places in the world that you could possibly live in Southern California. And I can walk down to the park and I see a guy who I say, "Hey, man, where'd you get the crack?" Because he's smoking something out of a, yeah, I don't know, like some kind of, he's got some kind of homemade device, right? Where'd you get the crack? He's like, "Oh man, it's not crack, it's fentanyl." Okay, well, where'd you get that? Who sold it to you? I'm asking him, trying to find out like what's the guy's name. If I want to go get some fentanyl, who should I ask for? I want to know their freaking name, right? I want to know what is the guy's name? Who is he? Where can I find this person? Right? That's the kind of person I am. I want to know what is the name of the person distributing this stuff. So what I gather is that they're literally, there's a whole network of people distributing that um, super dangerous drugs in the main like hub of the county. And I don't know if they're just giving it out for free, because I'm telling you, this guy doesn't have a penny to his name. This guy literally sleeps in the same clothes every day for years, okay? And he lives on the street, and he doesn't even know how to, I don't think he goes to the laundromat. Like, he's that bad off, and he's a serious drug addict, and he doesn't have any money. I don't know how he even eats food. I don't even know. I don't think he's smart enough to go to the welfare office and get like an EBT card. So how's he paying for this? I don't know. Are they just giving it to him? Are they just distributing this stuff? I don't know. But apparently he said, yeah, you just go into this part of town and it's kind of all over the place. And it's like, okay, well, where are the police? Why don't that's the thing. Whatever's going on with America, it's like, you know, it's a problem that could be easily solved through state violence, actually. If the state wanted to get really violent towards people that distribute dangerous drugs, they could. But for whatever reason, they can't. So yeah, it's all over the place. But okay, so the other thing that they do is they have a network that promotes homosexual books for toddlers and kids. So there's some kind of group, and so I've looked into who these people are. They're some kind of like, they're like a family that's sponsored by the city, and they get tax money, and they're like somehow they have some connection to the city, and the city pays for their rent on their store or their property or whatever they're doing, so that they can be part of the community to disseminate this stuff that otherwise nobody would buy. You see what I mean? And they've got like a corner store in the heart of downtown. And when you walk by their book, oh wait, I shouldn't say what it is. When you walk by their store, they've got books. They've got books for, it's all okay. Here's what it's the same exact stuff you see on the UN website and the ADL website. So the place I've seen all these titles of these books is the UN website and the ADL website. And it's like Ron DeSantis, who I frankly don't like, but he did try to get these books banned in the schools, and a lot of other people have too, which is good. It's the same books. Like, there's this whole network of people disseminating these kind of books, and so somehow they're getting like money to set up these. It costs a lot of money to rent this property where I live. I think, like, when I say a lot of money, I'm thinking like $10,000 a month to have an empty store that nobody buys anything from, and they're not closing down. They're there every day. I mean, it's there every day. They're still paying for. Who's paying for that? They have 10,000 a month to pay for a store that literally nobody goes in, but just to have these books in the window. There's something weird. And I've looked into who they are, and they're connected to this other thing, and they're connected to this other thing, and they get promoted by the main newspaper in the area, which is also connected to the Anti-Defamation League. It's just weird. It's just creepy. So there's some kind of political Sodom and Gomorrah. It's like Here's the best way I can explain it. Sodom and Gomorrah meets politics, and somehow they're getting funding because it's important to fund this through some kind of grant system. I think that's what's happening. Of course, it's some kind of weird cult. Now, Larry Fink, oddly enough, is also part of this cult, right? BlackRock, Vanguard, all those big investment companies that are worth more money. They're like the leading investment groups, right? And he's also on the board of like these art, what is it, like contemporary art. Notice how contemporary art is always some kind of perverted shit that no one otherwise wants to look at, right? It's not classical art. In other words, there's no funding, there's no like established funding in America and France, in UK for classical art that's actually beautiful. The kind of stuff that our ancestors created, which made everyone just completely enamored with Western civilization. There's nobody funding that. Instead, they're funding this weird stuff that I'm telling you about. And they're so whoever these people are, it's definitely connected to a lot of money, and it's their culture, but it's not my culture, and so I don't want to see it anymore. I don't want it. I don't want to see it anywhere. They're connected through. Oh, they're also connected through the art schools. The art schools don't produce classical arts. They have a group that calls itself the So and So for Fine Arts Council, but it's not fine arts. It's always some way to sneak, a rainbow here and there. You see what I mean? It's the type of art you see on Google. It's the type of art you see on these weird corporate commercials where everything is a black guy with a black guy with a white woman with a Asian person with and a gay person. It's always the same stuff. It always goes back to the same kind of political financial agenda. And it's weird and I'm sick of it. And I hate it. And I hate it very much. And we're all taught nowadays that it's wrong to hate. But God hates things. And so if you think it's wrong to hate, then you must hate God because God doesn't like everything. Right? Everything you do isn't loved by God. People think God is all loving and he loves everybody no matter what they do. Oh, that's so sweet. That's not true. That's not true. God doesn't love everything. Like, how do you know? What do you know about God? How do I know? Because I'm a soul, because I have a human soul, which is, guess where the human soul is eternal. Guess where it comes from? God. So I must know something about it. I must know something about it because I'm part of it. So I must know something about it. And I can tell you this. God hates all this crap. Hates. That's where the Israelites really got it right when they wrote the Bible. No other religion. No other religions. I think that was the big thing with the Israelites. It wasn't you had a lot of different religions. Most of the old religions before the Israelites were about the gods hated you and wanted to kill you, and you were trying to survive, and so you would try to I don't know if they all hated you. No. Let's give the Greek like this example of what they did with the Olympics of. Oh, the god of sex and promiscuity. Oh, they had a god for that. Well, that's an idea. That's a phenomena. So what? So what? That sounds like shit. Sorry. But in the Bible, there's definitely God has a sense of what God likes and doesn't like, and it has to do with virtue. And so that's where the Israelites really got it right. It is writing a book about virtue, not to be confused with the rabbis. The rabbis aren't necessarily virtuous. A lot of them are promoting this crap. Go to the ADL website. They're promoting it all. They're part of it all. They're basically imposing Sodom and Gomorrah on a lot of these countries, in France, in UK, in Canada, in New York, in San Francisco. A lot of the people doing that are connected to the Anti-Defamation League, which is a Jewish Masonic organization. But the Israelites who wrote the Bible were different, much different. Nothing like those people. Nothing at all like those people. In fact, they certainly had the right idea when it came to interpreting how God thinks about things. They had the right idea when they said, I hate them with perfect hatred. I count them mine enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts. And see if there be any wicked way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. And with that, I suppose I will end off. Have a good evening. Thanks for watching. Because they think that's what brings back the Messiah. Oh, yes, they're waiting for the Messiah. Oh, they're waiting for the Messiah. Guess what? Jesus Christ is the Messiah. So if you don't know what that is, you'll be waiting for a Messiah. Of course, they are waiting for the Messiah. Guess who's not waiting for a Messiah? Me. I'm not waiting for the Messiah because I know what it is. But they are. And they'll be waiting forever, because they don't know what it is. It's the truth. The truth is your Messiah. The truth will save you. Nothing else. It's not going to be a red cow. It's not going to be, that's the other thing I was listening to these. You get these Zionist Christian media groups, and they really like to talk about prophecy. And then this is going to happen, and that's going to happen. And he's talking about Genesis and how there's these prophecies about these other races and the Edomites and the Amalekites and these people and those. And I'm like, that already happened, dude. And all that stuff, all those prophecies and all that stuff you're talking about, these Zionist Christian pastors who were all bankrolled by the Anti-Defamation League, B'nai B'rith Mafia, all those pastors who were literally blackmailed by them. I know for a fact because I was connected to a church through my mother, was connected to it actually, with one of these pastors that was being blackmailed by the Anti-Defamation League. But over in Palm Springs area, no, Yucca Valley, sorry. And so they go on and on about these prophecies, and we got to fight these people, and they're going to be just giant war. It's like, you don't have Christ, bro. How are you? You're not a Christian. If you think you need to do all this stuff to bring in the Messiah, guess what? The Christ, the Messiah, he's already come. It's just up to you to accept the truth. The truth is the truth. The truth is your Messiah. God's word is your Messiah. That's it. It's the word of God that's spoken by God, called Christ. That's your Messiah. They don't know that. So they're going to be searching and cutting up cows and going to war and trying to kill these people and trying to kill those people. And it's like, man, you guys are just wasting a lot of time. Yep. Okay. Have a good night. Thanks for listening. Thanks for your participation, and end of stream. Thank you.